Social media companies will face very significant fines if they fail to remove and limit the spread of illegal content under new proposed laws published by the government today. Big tech firms will have to abide by a legal duty of care to protect children. Our media editor, Amol Rajan, has the details.
This is Frida, except that's not her real name, and this isn't her real voice. In her 20s now, she was just 13 when the grooming began online.
I got a message from an older man, just hi, friend request, whatever, and I added him because you're 13 and just try and add whoever you can on Facebook to try and seem like you've got loads of friends and stuff. I don't think it took too long for it to get into him asking for more pictures of me, and then sexual pictures of me, and him sending me sexual pictures. I still haven't reported it to the police. I probably never will because of how long and painful the process can be.
I talk to the technology companies that dominate the internet very, very often, and they would say about this kind of thing, you know what, we've built as good technology as we can to try and detect this stuff. What would you say to them if they're in the room now?
I'd ask them who is taking responsibility for this, because currently the man who has groomed me does not take any responsibility for what happened, and the tech companies did not take any responsibility for what has happened. So the only person taking responsibility for it is me, which is horrible. I am the only one facing up to what's happened.
I now call Secretary Oliver Dowden to make his statement.
The Culture Secretary today outlined some of the specifics.
A 13-year-old should no longer be able to access pornographic images on Twitter. YouTube will not be allowed to recommend videos promoting terrorist ideologies. And anti-Semitic hate crime will need to be removed without delay.
As part of the proposals, senior managers could eventually face criminal prosecution, though that will require secondary legislation. There will be exemptions for smaller firms, so as not to stifle innovation. And articles or comments on news websites will be unaffected to protect free speech.
I don't think those firms are taking it seriously enough.
Ian Russell has been campaigning on this issue since the death of his daughter Molly, who took her own life. It later emerged she had seen pictures of self-harm on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook.
There are things that they could have done better. They could have included criminal sanctions to senior management up front, and that would have put a bigger impulse to bring about change, which is much needed.
Urgent though these issues clearly are, these proposals have been years in the making, are largely untried and still face huge practical challenges. The sheer volume of material online puts addressing this stuff beyond the reach of mere manpower. Then there's the fact that one person's online harm is another's freedom of expression. But despite all of that, a consensus has emerged in the West that these global data giants have had a free pass for too long.
Tech giants have invested billions in safety and say they welcome regulation. These new rules probably won't be in place until 2022, leaving plenty of time for their lobbying. Amol Rajan, BBC News.